you note that polarization alone does not cause or increase political violence. I wonder if you could say more about why that is.
I'd be happy to jump in on that. We're facing in the United States, as many countries are, a serious problem with polarization, which is really people stretching to the ends of the political spectrum, and also not just having significant political difference, but also really finding an inability to find common ground on regular policy debates, which is a normal part of what a democracy has to do, is have people compromising in the middle, sometimes giving and taking. But we're really in this moment of really stretched polarization. And polarization itself doesn't cause violence, but what it does is it's almost a fertile ground for leaders to come in who would like to stoke that violence and to use violence for their own political gain. And so you have a polarized citizenry. You are able then to encourage violence. You're able to talk about violence. You're able to introduce violence as an option for them to work out their political concerns. And if you're so far away from somebody and you don't see them as someone that you could compromise with a little bit on something, then you're almost seeing that person as almost not even worthy of debating or not even worthy of sharing a political stage with. And you're almost in some cases seeing them as almost the evil themselves, that it's a part of your problem of your country. And so you're not going to be interested. And so that also lends itself even more to the idea, well, if I use violence and it's very justified because I'm not just doing it against someone I'm somewhat different from, it's someone who's really, really the problem in my country. And that's how this polarized moment can be used by leaders who would like to stoke that.
Yeah, and that leads right into the second cause of increased political violence, and that's the amplification of polarization by political leaders. I think, Nicole, you were just speaking to some of this, but what is it? This is, I guess, sort of like a chicken and the egg thing, but it's like is it the leader that really sort of picks up the mantle here, or are they just responding to what they're seeing among their constituents, that there's an appetite for the embrace of this type of language and this type of behavior?
I think the evidence points to a bad leader. These conflict entrepreneurs, as they're called, they can be political leaders. They can also be media leaders or sort of leaders of groups. The damage that those individuals can do if they're not checked in some way is really gargantuan. There's another article in the Journal of Democracy by Tom Carruthers and Brendan Hartnett on backsliding democracies and how people blame them for not being able to deliver, but really it's these leaders stoking these problems. So as Nicole was saying, you can have very polarized countries, fertile ground, and no violence happens. And then you have conflict entrepreneurs stepping in and saying, oh, I think I can win votes this way, or I can build a base this way. And the political structures incentivize me in such a way that I can use fear of the other to deepen my political chances. And that's when you get the violence.
If I could just add to that, full agreement with Rachel's really important point. There's also this failure to denounce violence within your own side, which is really then, if you think about it, calling out someone's undemocratic behavior should be something we're able to do regardless. We should all share a democratic culture, and democratic, not the party, but rather commitment to democracy, and share that culture. And therefore, we should be able to oppose undemocratic behavior regardless of who we're standing with. But what we increasingly see in many places is an unwillingness to go against your own side, even if the behavior on your own side is something that or is widely accepted as undemocratic, because there is this particularly in a polarized time, this connection of our political survival and our political position is far more important than going against some of this undemocratic behavior. And then what it is you see each side then justifying undemocratic actions, including violence, that as long as it furthers the right side, the correct position, then it's justified. And that's a very, very damaging thing in a democracy.